All right, my little math friends, we are moving on. Now we're moving on to the second lesson here in Chapter 5. Now that we've done a review of percent, now we're going to actually start to use this, and we're going to calculate the percent increase or decrease, okay? So in my last video, I did a review of percent, and I said percent is just a way of comparing a situation using a number out of 100. Okay, it's just a way to describe a situation, okay? Like you could say something was 50% more. Okay, that's one way to describe something, or you could say something was 30% less. Okay, that's how we use percents. It's just a way to describe what's going on, all right? And percents in this lesson, percents can be used to describe the change of a situation, and this is going to be called percent of change. Okay, we're just going to be calculating how much something changes. Okay, just like up here, something could change 50% more, or something could change 30% less. Okay, we're just going to run some calculations to show that. The first one we have is these situations, is looking at percent of change, whether it's an increase or a decrease. Okay, and how much that was. So problem number one, we're going from 15 to 23. And we want to find out how much of a change that is, what percentage of a change that is to go from the number 15 to the number 23. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is step number one, we're going to subtract those two numbers. Okay, and we're going to label these two numbers because that's going to be very important as we go through chapter 5. So we started with 15. So 15 is the start. So that is what we're going to label as the original. Okay, that's the original number. We went from 15 and we're going to 23. So that's going to be the new number, okay, the new amount. We had 15, we went to 23. Okay, step number one, we're going to subtract those two. 23 minus 15. And like I said, you guys get to use calculators now in chapter 5, so that's pretty awesome. So that's going to give us 8. All right, and 8, that answer, the difference between those numbers, we're going to label that as the change. Okay, so we got the original, we have the new, and we have the change when we subtract those two. Okay, so now we're going to get into calculating our percent. Step number 2, we're going to divide the change by the original amount. Okay, so we're going to take 8, and we're going to divide that by the original amount, 15. Okay, now that's kind of a backwards division problem, and it's going to get us a very small decimal number, and that's okay. That's what we want, all right? That is going to give us 0.533, and those 3's are just going to keep repeating forever, okay? We did step 2, we divided. Now we're on to step 3. We're going to change the decimal to a percent. Okay, so to change that to a percent, just like in the last lesson, we're going to move this decimal point to the right 2 times. That's going to give us 53%. And I'm just going to drop off that other 3 because we don't need it. Okay, and that's going to be our answer. All right. And this was an increase because we went from 15 to 23. So we could say that this was a 53% increase. Okay, that's how much of a percentage increase it is to go from the number 15 to the number 23. All right, so let's check out number 2. Number 2, we have a percent of change, and it's going to be a decrease because we're going from 36 to 19. 36 is our original. Okay, 19 is our new amount. Okay, so we got our original at 36. The new number is 19. We're going to go through the same exact steps over here. First thing we're going to do is subtract those two. All right, so we're going to take 36 minus 19. Okay, when I do that, that's going to get me 17. All right, 17 is my change. That's how much of a change it is to go from 36 to 19. All right. Then I'm going to do step number 2. I'm going to divide the change by the original. So I'm going to take 17, divide that by the original, 36. Okay, and again, it's a kind of a backwards division problem, and it's going to get us a small decimal number, which is okay. That is going to be 0.472, and that 2 is just going to keep repeating. All right, now we're ready for step number 3. We're just going to change the decimal to a percent. Take this decimal point, move it 2 places to the right. Now it's going to go right there, and I'm going to drop off that 2. I don't really need it anymore. And we'll make that a percent, and it's going to be 47%. Okay, so to put that into words, going from 36 down to 19 is a 47% decrease. All right, it went down by 47%. We just described what the change of that situation is. Okay, now let's take a look at some word problems with these, because I think that makes a little bit more sense when we check out this in some word problems. All right, there's my word problems right there. That's what I wanted. Okay, here's our very first one. Amber got a raise at work, and her hourly pay increased from $8 to $9.50. What is the percent increase? Okay, so there's our question. All right, just like I've done before. Here's my steps when I got word problems. I want to underline that question. Okay, because I'm trying to find the percent increase from $8 to $9.50. All right, highlight your math facts, get some brackets on there so you guys get your math facts picked out. All right, so there's my math facts. I got $8 and I got $9.50. Okay, I'm going to label these even one step more. Amber started with $8. Now she gets $9.50. So originally she was getting $8. So that's going to be my original. Okay, and now she gets $9.50. That's going to be my new amount. All right, those are important to label those so that we get those figured out when we're working out the math here. All right, now let's work out the math, guys. We got the same steps as up above. First of all, we're going to subtract. Okay, we're going to subtract the new amount and the original amount. So I'm going to take $9.50. And I'm going to subtract $8. And that's going to give me $1.50. And that is the change. Okay, that's how much more she gets now, is $1.50 an hour. That's the change. So now I'm on to step number 2. I'm going to divide the change by the original amount. Okay, so I'm going to take $1.50 and I'm going to divide that by $9.50. And when I do that, that is going to give me, oh, excuse me. Whoa, I almost messed up there, guys. We got to go back here. Forget I said that part. Did anyone catch that mistake I made there? Okay, I hope you did. Good thing to be paying attention. Okay, so I'm going to take the $1.50, the change amount, and I need to divide it by the original. Okay, that's why we label those. See how easy that is to make that mistake? Even a math teacher almost made that. Ouch. All right, so I'm going to divide those. Now I got it right. Change and original. I'm going to divide that out, and when I divide that, that is going to give me 0.1875. Okay, perfect. There's my decimal number. Now I'm on to step number 3. I'm going to change the decimal to a percent. Okay, so just take this decimal point right here and that answer we got, move it over 2 places. Now it's going to be right there, and that's going to give me, I'm going to round that to 19%. Okay, and that's going to give me my answer. 19% describes the raise that Amber got. So if we wanted to put that in a sentence, we could say Amber makes 19% more. Okay, that describes how much more of a raise she got, 19% more. Congratulations, Amber, making more money. All right, let's take a look at problem number 2. Let's go through and read through it first so we get an idea of what's going on. Dave moved from a house that is 89 miles away from his workplace to a house that is 51 miles away from his workplace. Okay, so get a picture of that. He used to live in a house that was 89 miles away from work. Now he's only 51 miles away from work. Okay, what is the percent decrease from his home to his workplace? All right, so we want to find this right here. What is the percent decrease from his new home now? All right, how much of a percent of miles is he driving less to work? All right, so let's go through here and let's pick out our math facts. So he used to live in a house that was 81 miles away from his work, and now he lives in a house that is 51 miles away from his work. All right, so reading through this, it says he moved from this house, so that has to be the original because that's where he moved from. And it says he moved to this house over here, so that is the new house. All right, so that is where he lives now. All right, since we got those numbers labeled, let's go through our steps. Step number 1, we're going to subtract. We're going to take 89 minus 51. And when I do that, that's going to give me 39, and 39 is our change. Okay, that's how much miles changed from his old house to his new house. Okay, now we're on to step number 2. We're going to take the change amount, 39. Okay, now I'm nervous. I don't want to mess up this time. And I want to divide that by the original amount. Okay, good thing I labeled it right here. I'm dividing that by 89. Okay, and when I do that, that is going to give me a small decimal number, 0.4382. All right, now I'm on to step number 3 here. I'm going to change the decimal to a percent. I'm just going to move this decimal point 2 places to the right. It's now going to go right there. I can do some rounding. That's going to get me 44% is my answer. 44% describes how many miles less he drives to work from where he used to live. Okay, so if we want to put that in a sentence, we could say Dave lives 44% closer to work. All right, that tells somebody in a way that people understand how much closer Dave lives to work now. All right, there you go. Calculating percent of change, increase or decrease. There's your guys' lesson. Don't forget to do your try this problem, and I'll see you guys next time in class, and we'll work out some more of these. Thanks.